First contact and cultural shock. The sleek, crystalline ship of the Zarthan Collective glided silently through Earth's atmosphere, its cloaking technology rendering it invisible to human detection systems. On board, lead researcher Nix Aura waited with barely contained excitement. After years of observing humanity from afar, the collective had finally deemed Earth ready for first contact. Nix Aura's iridescent skin shimmered with anticipation as she prepared for the historic meeting. The Zarthan, a species that had long ago transcended biological reproduction in favor of advanced cloning techniques, had been fascinated by humanity's continued reliance on what they considered primitive methods of procreation. As the ship touched down in a secluded meadow just outside a small town in the American Midwest, Nix Aura took a deep breath of filtered air. Her large, multifaceted eyes blinked rapidly, adjusting to Earth's atmosphere as the ship's ramp extended. Dr. Emily Chen, the human representative chosen for this momentous occasion, stood at the edge of the meadow, her heart racing. When the alien emerged, Emily's breath caught in her throat. Nix Aura was unlike anything she had imagined, tall, slender, with a translucent exoskeleton that seemed to change color with every movement. "Greetings, Dr. Chen." Nix Aura's voice was melodic, transmitted directly into Emily's mind through advanced technology. "I am Nix Aura of the Zarthan Collective. We come in peace and with great curiosity about your species." Emily swallowed hard, forcing herself to remain composed. "Welcome to Earth, Nix Aura. We're honored by your presence and eager to learn from you as well." As they walked towards the small research facility that had been set up for this meeting, Nix Aura's gaze darted around, taking in every detail of the Earth environment. "Your planet is chaotic," she observed. "So much variation, so much unpredictability. How do you manage?" Emily chuckled softly. "That chaos, as you call it, is what makes Earth beautiful to us. It's the source of our creativity, our resilience." Inside the facility, a team of scientists waited nervously. As introductions were made, Nix Aura's focus zeroed in on Dr. Mark Stevens, the lead biologist. "You are a specialist in human reproduction, correct?" she asked, her tone filled with curiosity. Mark nodded, a bit taken aback by the direct question. "Yes, that's my area of expertise. Is that of particular interest to you?" Nix Aura's exoskeleton flushed a deep blue, indicating intense interest. "Indeed, the Zarthan find your methods of reproduction fascinating. So inefficient, so unpredictable, and yet," she paused, searching for the right word, "so central to your culture and development." The human scientists exchanged glances, unsure how to respond. Emily stepped in, her diplomatic training kicking in. "Perhaps we could arrange a more in-depth discussion on the topic. It seems like an area where our species could learn a lot from each other." Nix Aura nodded enthusiastically. "Yes, I would very much like that. In fact, I have a proposal. The Zarthan Collective has authorized me to conduct a long-term study of human reproduction and pair bonding. With your permission, of course." The room fell silent. The implications of such a study were enormous, not just scientifically, but culturally and ethically as well. Mark was the first to speak up. What exactly would this study entail? Nix Aura's exoskeleton shimmered with excitement. "I would like to observe human courtship rituals, the bonding process, and yes, even the act of reproduction itself. All in the name of science and mutual understanding, of course." Emily felt a headache coming on. This was way beyond what they had prepared for. "Nix Aura, while we appreciate your scientific curiosity, this is a very personal and private aspect of human life. We can't just—" But Nix Aura interrupted, her voice filled with genuine confusion. "But why? Is reproduction not a natural biological function? Why shroud it in secrecy and emotion?" Mark stepped forward, his scientific curiosity piqued despite his reservations. "It's not just about biology for us, Nix Aura. Human reproduction is tied to our emotions, our social structures, our very identities in ways that might be hard for a species that uses cloning to understand. Nyx Ara's exoskeleton rippled, a sign of deep thought. Fascinating. All the more reason for a comprehensive study, don't you think? We could learn so much from each other. Emily sighed, realizing this was going to be a long and complicated negotiation. Let's take a step back and discuss the parameters of such a study. We need to ensure that any research respects human privacy and ethical standards. As the discussions continued late into the night, it became clear that this first contact was going to challenge both species in ways they hadn't anticipated. The Zarthan's clinical approach to reproduction clashed dramatically with humanity's complex emotional and social views on the subject. Nyx Ara found herself increasingly fascinated by the humans' reactions. Their faces flushed, their voices rose and fell with emotion, and their body language spoke volumes. It was all so inefficient, and yet there was something compelling about it. As the meeting drew to a close, a compromise was reached. Nyx Ara would be allowed to conduct her study, but under strict guidelines and with willing volunteers only. She would be paired with Dr. Mark Stevens, who would act as both a subject and a guide in this delicate research. As Nyx Ara prepared to return to her ship for the night, she turned to Mark. "I look forward to working with you, Dr. Stevens. I believe we are on the brink of a discovery that could change both our species forever." Mark nodded, a mix of excitement and apprehension in his eyes. "Just try to remember that for us, this isn't just about data and biology. There's so much more to human relationships and reproduction than that." Nyx Ara's exoskeleton shimmered with a new color, one that the humans couldn't quite interpret. "I will do my best to understand. After all, that is why I am here." As the alien ship rose silently into the night sky, the human team stood watching, each lost in their own thoughts. They had prepared for first contact for years, but nothing could have prepared them for this. The study of human reproduction by an advanced alien species was about to begin, and none of them could predict where it might lead. Emily turned to Mark, a wry smile on her face. "Well, Dr. Stevens, it looks like you're about to become the galaxy's foremost expert on human sexuality. Are you ready for that?" Mark laughed nervously. "Ready? I don't think anyone could be ready for this. But it's the opportunity of a lifetime. We're about to explore the most fundamental aspects of what makes us human, through the eyes of a completely different species. It's terrifying, it's exciting, and it's absolutely necessary." As they walked back to the research facility, the weight of what was to come settled over them. The next few months would challenge everything they thought they knew about themselves, about humanity, and about the nature of life and love in the universe. Little did they know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would reshape both human and Zarthan society forever. The Alien Scholars Experiment. The dawn broke over the small Midwestern town, casting an otherworldly glow on the crystalline Zarthan ship nestled in the nearby meadow. Inside the hastily repurposed research facility, Dr. Mark Stevens paced nervously, his mind racing with the implications of the day ahead. Today, Nyx Ara would begin her unprecedented study of human reproduction. As the alien researcher glided into the room, her exoskeleton shimmering with an eager blue hue, Mark couldn't help but marvel at the surreal nature of the situation. Here he was, a respected biologist, about to explain the intricacies of human sexuality to a being from another world. "Greetings, Dr. Stevens." Nyx Ara's telepathic voice resonated in Mark's mind. "I have prepared a series of inquiries and experiments that I believe will illuminate the fascinating realm of human reproduction." Mark cleared his throat, trying to maintain his professional composure. "Right, well, before we begin, I think it's important to establish some ground rules and—" "Excellent suggestion," Nyx Ara interrupted, her enthusiasm palpable. "I propose we start with a comparative analysis of human and Zarthan reproductive systems. Observe." Before Mark could protest, a holographic display flickered to life between them, showcasing an intricate 3D model of Zarthan biology. Mark's scientific curiosity momentarily overrode his apprehension as he marveled at the alien physiology. "Fascinating," he murmured, leaning in for a closer look. "Your species reproduces through some form of energy transfer." Nyx-Ara's exoskeleton pulsed with pride. "Indeed, we have evolved beyond the need for physical contact. Our reproductive process is a harmonious blend of consciousness and quantum entanglement." Mark's mind reeled at the implications. "That's incredible. But how do you maintain genetic diversity?" "Ah, an astute question." Nyx-Ara's form shimmered excitedly. "We manipulate our genetic code at will, introducing calculated variations to optimize our species' evolution." As Mark absorbed this information, Nyx-Ara swiftly shifted the focus. "Now, let us examine human reproduction. I have prepared a series of questions that I believe will provide valuable insights." What followed was perhaps the most surreal and uncomfortable conversation of Mark's life. Nyx-Ara's questions ranged from the clinical to the absurdly specific, each one highlighting the vast gulf between their species' understanding of intimacy and reproduction. So, the release of oxytocin during physical contact serves no direct reproductive function, yet humans consider it essential. Nyx-Ara queried, her confusion evident. Mark sighed, running a hand through his hair. "It's not just about reproduction for us, Nyx-Ara. Intimacy, love, connection, these are fundamental aspects of the human experience." Nyx-Ara's exoskeleton rippled with a new color, a deep, contemplative purple. "Intriguing. Your species seems to have intertwined emotional responses with biological imperatives in a most inefficient manner." As the day wore on, Mark found himself struggling to convey the nuances of human relationships. How could he explain the butterflies in one's stomach at a first kiss, or the profound bond between partners to a being that reproduced through energy transfer? Sensing his frustration, Nyx-Ara proposed a bold experiment. Perhaps a practical demonstration would be more illuminating. "I have developed a device that can simulate human sensory experiences. With your permission, I would like to experience these emotions firsthand." Mark's eyes widened. "You want to feel human emotions? Is that even possible?" Nyx-Ara's form pulsed with excitement. "Theoretically, yes. By mapping the neurochemical responses associated with human emotions, I believe I can create a temporary facsimile within my own consciousness." Against his better judgment, Mark found himself intrigued. "And this is safe, for both of us?" "The risk is minimal," Nyx-Ara assured him. "Think of the scientific breakthrough, Dr. Stevens. A true meeting of minds across species." Heart pounding, Mark nodded his assent. Nyx-Ara produced a small iridescent device that hummed with alien energy. As she activated it, tendrils of light extended, connecting their minds in ways that defied human understanding. Suddenly, Mark was awash in alien sensations, the cosmic hum of quantum entanglement, the vast interconnectedness of the Zarthan collective consciousness. It was overwhelming, beautiful, and utterly foreign. For Nyx-Ara, the experience was equally profound. Waves of human emotion crashed over her: joy, fear, love, desire, each one more intense and chaotic than the last. Her exoskeleton blazed with a kaleidoscope of colors as she struggled to process the onslaught of sensations. As the connection faded, both beings staggered, forever changed by the experience. Nyx-Ara's usually composed form trembled, her voice unsteady as she spoke. "That was unexpected. How do humans function with such intensity of feeling?" Mark, still reeling from the alien perceptions he had glimpsed, managed a weak smile. "We don't always function well, to be honest. But it's those emotions that drive us, that make life worth living." Nyx-Ara's exoskeleton settled into a deep, thoughtful blue. "I believe I am beginning to understand. Your reproduction is not merely a biological function, but a complex interplay of emotion, physiology, and social constructs." As they concluded the day's experiments, both Mark and Nyx-Ara knew they had only scratched the surface. The study of human reproduction had opened up questions far beyond biology, questions about the nature of consciousness, emotion, and what it truly means to be alive. Little did they know, their groundbreaking experiment had not gone unnoticed. In the shadows of the research facility, a figure watched, its eyes glowing with an otherworldly light. The implications of human-alien emotional transfer were far-reaching, and not everyone was pleased with this development. As night fell over the quiet Midwestern town, the stage was set for a collision of worlds, one that would challenge the very foundations of both human and Zarthan society. The true experiment was only just beginning. Cosmic connections and quantum entanglements. As the first rays of dawn painted the sky in hues of lavender and gold, Dr. Emily Chen found herself standing at the edge of a cornfield, her eyes fixed on the shimmering Zarthan ship. The events of the past few days had turned her world upside down, but nothing could have prepared her for what was about to unfold. Dr. Chen, Nyx Ara's melodic voice resonated in her mind, causing Emily to jump slightly. I apologize for the early summons, but I have made a discovery that could revolutionize our understanding of both our species. Emily turned to face the alien researcher, noting the unusual pulsating patterns on Nyx Ara's exoskeleton. What kind of discovery? She asked, her scientific curiosity piqued. Nyx Ara's form shimmered with excitement. During yesterday's empathy experiment with Dr. Stevens, I detected an anomaly, a quantum resonance between our consciousness that defies our current understanding of neurophysics. Emily's eyes widened. Are you saying there's some kind of quantum entanglement between human and Zarthan minds? Precisely. Nyx Ara's excitement was palpable, but it goes beyond mere entanglement. I believe we've stumbled upon a cosmic connection, a bridge between our species that transcends physical reality. As they walked towards the research facility, Nyx Ara explained her theory. The emotional transfer experiment had inadvertently tapped into a previously unknown quantum field, one that seemed to connect all sentient beings across the universe. Inside the lab, they found Dr. Mark Stevens already hard at work, surrounded by holographic displays of brainwave patterns and quantum fluctuations. Emily, you're not going to believe this, he said, his voice filled with awe. The data from yesterday's experiment, it's like nothing we've ever seen before. For the next few hours, the trio pored over the data, their excitement growing with each new discovery. The implications were staggering. Not only could this explain the deep emotional connections humans experienced, but it could also revolutionize interstellar communication and possibly even space travel. Imagine, Nyx Ara mused, her exoskeleton glowing with a deep contemplative blue. If we could harness this quantum connection, we could potentially transmit consciousness across vast distances instantaneously. Mark's eyes lit up, like some sort of quantum teleportation of the mind. Emily, however, looked concerned. But what about the ethical implications? If we can connect minds across species, across galaxies, where do we draw the line? Their discussion was interrupted by a sudden high-pitched whine. The lab's equipment began to malfunction, holographic displays flickering and distorting. What's happening? Emily shouted over the noise. Nyx Ara's form pulsed with alarm. Someone, or something, is interfering with the quantum field we've tapped into. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light filled the room. When it faded, they found themselves face to face with a being unlike anything they had ever seen, a swirling vortex of energy that somehow conveyed a sense of ancient intelligence. Greetings, children of the cosmos, a voice echoed in their minds, simultaneously alien and familiar. We are the quantum custodians, guardians of the universal consciousness you have inadvertently accessed. The humans and Nyx Ara stood in awe, their minds struggling to comprehend the being before them. Your experiment has rippled across the fabric of reality, the custodian continued. You stand at a crossroads, one that could lead to enlightenment or destruction. Emily stepped forward, her voice trembling but determined. We meant no harm. We're scientists, explorers. We only wanted to understand. The custodian's form shimmered, conveying what might have been amusement. Intent is irrelevant in the face of cosmic consequences. The knowledge you seek comes with great responsibility. Mark joined Emily, his scientific curiosity overriding his fear. What kind of responsibility? What exactly have we stumbled upon? You have discovered the cosmic web, the custodian explained. A network of consciousness that binds all sentient life in the universe. It is the source of empathy, of love, of the very essence that you humans call the soul. Nyx-Ara's exoskeleton pulsed with a mix of colors, reflecting her turbulent emotions. But the Zarfan abandoned such concepts eons ago. How can we be part of this web? All life is connected, whether you choose to acknowledge it or not, the custodian replied. Your people's journey away from emotion has led you astray, but not beyond redemption. As the implications of this revelation sank in, the custodian continued. We have watched your experiment with great interest. The bridging of human and Zarfan consciousness holds great potential, but also great danger. What kind of danger? Emily asked, her scientific mind already racing with possibilities. The cosmic web is delicate, the custodian explained. Misuse of this connection could tear the very fabric of reality. Wars fought with consciousness as a weapon, the enslavement of entire species through forced empathic bonds, the potential for chaos is limitless. The room fell silent as they grappled with the weight of this knowledge. Finally, Mark spoke up. So what happens now? Do we just forget everything we've learned? The custodian's form shifted, taking on a more defined shape, a being of pure light that somehow conveyed both wisdom and compassion. No, knowledge once gained cannot be undone. Instead, you must choose how to proceed. We offer you a choice, the custodian continued. Continue your research under our guidance and become the first of your species to join the cosmic conclave, a gathering of enlightened beings from across the universe. Or have all memory of this discovery erased, returning to your previous existence. The weight of the decision hung heavy in the air. Emily, Mark, and Nyx-Ara exchanged glances, each seeing in the other's eyes the same mix of fear, excitement, and determination. If we accept, Nyx-Ara asked, her voice uncharacteristically hesitant, what would it mean for our people? It would mean guiding them towards a new understanding of the universe, the custodian replied, teaching them to balance logic with emotion, science with empathy. It would be a challenge unlike any your species has faced before. Emily took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. And for humanity. A chance to evolve beyond your current limitations, the custodian said, to truly understand your place in the cosmic tapestry and to harness the power of universal empathy. As they stood on the precipice of this monumental decision, alarms began to blare throughout the facility. On the monitors, they could see government vehicles approaching. It seemed their unauthorized experiment had finally been noticed. You must decide quickly, the custodian urged. The choice you make now will shape the destiny of both your species and potentially the entire universe. With hearts pounding and minds reeling, Emily, Mark, and Nyx-Ara looked at each other. In that moment, something passed between them, a silent understanding, a shared vision of the potential that lay before them. As the sounds of approaching footsteps echoed through the hallways, they turned to face the custodian, their decision made. The fate of two species, and perhaps the entire cosmos, hung in the balance. Little did they know, their choice would set in motion a chain of events that would challenge the very foundations of reality itself. The battle for Earth. The sky above Earth burned with the fury of 1,000 suns. Massive void eater vessels, dark and ominous, loomed over the planet like harbingers of doom. Humanity's home, the cradle of their civilization, stood on the brink of annihilation. But the combined fleet of Earth and Zarkai ships refused to let their world fall without a fight. Captain Elena Reyes gripped the arms of her command chair aboard the ESS Frontier, her eyes fixed on the tactical display. The situation looked grim, but a fire burned in her chest. the indomitable human spirit that had carried her species through countless trials. "All ships, this is Captain Reyes," she broadcast to the fleet. "We've trained for this. We've prepared for this. Today, we fight not just for Earth, but for the future of all sentient life in the galaxy. Show these Void Eaters what happens when they threaten our home." A chorus of affirmations flooded the comms as human and Zarkai pilots alike readied themselves for battle. The Alliance's ships, a mix of sleek Zarkai cruisers and sturdy human battleships, formed up into attack formations. Salith, Elena's Zarkai friend and ally, appeared on the view screen. "Elena, our sensors have detected a weakness in the Void Eater's shielding. If we can coordinate our attacks, we might be able to penetrate their defenses." Elena nodded, a determined smile crossing her face. "Understood, Salith. Let's show them what our two species can do together." The battle erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosive ordnance. Human fighters, piloted by the best Earth had to offer, darted between the massive Void Eater ships, exploiting every weakness they could find. Zarkai vessels unleashed salvos of advanced weaponry, their superior technology evening the odds against the numerically superior enemy. On the ground, the situation was equally dire. Void Eater dropships had breached Earth's atmosphere, depositing swarms of grotesque foot soldiers across major cities. In the streets of New York, Tokyo, and Lagos, human defenders fought with everything they had, from traditional firearms to hastily developed energy weapons based on Zarkai technology. Dr. Samantha Chen, the brilliant scientist who had helped unlock the secrets of Zarkai tech, found herself in the thick of the fighting. Armed with a prototype energy rifle, she led a group of civilians and soldiers in defending a makeshift shelter in the heart of Beijing. "Keep them back," she shouted, unleashing a burst of plasma that incinerated an approaching Void Eater drone. "We need to buy time for the evacuation." As the battle raged on, it became clear that conventional tactics alone wouldn't be enough to turn the tide. The Void Eater's numbers seemed endless, and for every ship the Alliance destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. Back on the frontier, Elena and her crew worked furiously to find a solution. "There has to be something we're missing," she muttered, poring over the sensor data. Suddenly, her eyes widened. "Wait a minute." Lieutenant Zhang analyzed the Void Eater's communication patterns. "Are you seeing what I'm seeing?" Zhang's fingers flew over his console. "Yes, Captain. There's a central node, a command ship that's coordinating their entire fleet." Elena's mind raced with the possibilities. If we can take out that command ship, we might be able to throw their entire force into disarray. She quickly relayed the information to Salith and the rest of the fleet. A plan began to form, a desperate, dangerous plan, but one that might just save Earth. "We'll need a small team to infiltrate the command ship," Elena explained. "A joint human Zarkai squad. Once inside, we can plant explosives and disable their coordination systems." Salith's expression was grim but determined. "It's risky, but it might be our only chance. I'll lead the Zarkai team." Elena nodded, "And I'll lead the human team. We've come too far to back down now." As the main fleet engaged in a massive diversionary attack, Elena and Salith led their elite squad towards the Void Eater command ship. Using a combination of Zarkai cloaking technology and human ingenuity, they managed to slip past the enemy's outer defenses. Inside the Void Eater vessel, the team faced horrors beyond imagination. The ship's corridors pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and the air itself seemed thick with malevolence. But the combined strength of human determination and Zarkai discipline drove them forward. They fought their way through waves of Void Eater defenders, their disparate fighting styles complementing each other perfectly. Humans, with their adaptability and unpredictable tactics, created openings at the Zarkai, with their advanced weaponry and tactical precision, exploited to devastating effect. As they neared the ship's core, Elena and Salith found themselves face to face with the Void Eater commander, a towering tentacled monstrosity that radiated pure malice. Your resistance is futile, the creature's voice boomed in their minds. We are eternal. We are infinite. Your world will fall, as countless others have before it. Elena stepped forward, her voice steady despite the fear coursing through her. You're wrong. You may be ancient, you may be powerful, but you've never faced anything like humanity and the Zarkai working together. With that, the final battle began. Elena and Salith moved as one, their movements perfectly synchronized after months of fighting side by side. They ducked and weaved around the commander's attacks, slowly but surely wearing it down. As the rest of their team engaged the remaining Void Eater forces, Elena saw her opening. With a nod to Salith, she charged forward, energy pistol blazing. The Zarkai warrior provided covering fire, his advanced weapon tearing through the commander's defenses. In a final desperate lunge, Elena planted the explosive device directly on the Void Eater commander's grotesque form. "This is for Earth," she growled, activating the detonator. The explosion rocked the entire ship, and klaxons began to blare. "We need to move now," Salith shouted, already heading towards their extraction point. As they raced through the disintegrating vessel, Elena couldn't help but feel a sense of awe at what they had accomplished. Humans and Zarkai, two species from opposite ends of the galaxy, working in perfect harmony to save not just Earth, but countless other worlds from the Void Eater threat. They barely made it to their shuttle, escaping the command ship moments before it erupted in a spectacular explosion. As they flew back towards the frontier, Elena watched in amazement as the Void Eater fleet fell into chaos. Without their central coordination, the massive armada began to crumble under the renewed assault of the human Zarkai alliance. Cheers erupted across every communication channel as the remaining Void Eater ships began to retreat. On the surface of Earth, the enemy ground forces, now cut off from their command structure, were quickly overwhelmed by the determined defenders. As the Frontier's medbay patched up her wounds, Elena looked out at her home planet. The world had been scarred by the invasion, yes, but it had survived. More than that, humanity had proven itself on the galactic stage. They had faced a threat of unimaginable power and emerged victorious, thanks in no small part to the alliance they had forged with the Zarkai. Salith joined her at the viewport, his normally stoic features softened by a look of respect. "Your people fought with incredible bravery, Elena. The galaxy will long remember this day." Elena smiled, placing a hand on her friend's shoulder. "We all did, human and Zarkai alike, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning of what our peoples can accomplish together." As the last of the Void Eater ships disappeared into the depths of space, a new dawn broke over Earth. The planet had faced its greatest challenge and emerged stronger for it. The human spirit, that indomitable force that had driven the species from cave-dwelling primitives to interstellar explorers, had once again propelled them to victory against impossible odds. But this victory was different. It wasn't just a triumph of humanity, but a testament to the power of cooperation, of different species coming together in the face of a common threat. As the sun rose on this new era, Elena knew that the future held limitless possibilities. Humanity had not only saved itself, but had also forged a bond that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. The battle for Earth was over, but the true adventure, the exploration of a universe filled with wonders and challenges beyond imagination, was just beginning. And humanity, standing proud alongside their Zarkai allies, was ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store for them. The quantum nexus, redefining humanity's place in the cosmos. In the aftermath of the Void Eater invasion, Earth stood resilient, its scars a testament to the price of victory. But for Captain Elena Reyes and her Zarkai counterpart, Salith, the end of one battle heralded the beginning of an even greater adventure, one that would challenge the very foundations of their understanding of the universe. As the reconstruction efforts began, strange anomalies started appearing across the globe. Shimmering portals of swirling energy, defying all known laws of physics, materialized in seemingly random locations. Scientists were baffled, and the public was both terrified and fascinated. Dr. Samantha Chen, still reeling from her experiences during the invasion, found herself at the forefront of this new mystery. These portals, she explained to a joint Human-Zarkai Scientific Council, appear to be quantum gateways. But they're unlike anything we've ever encountered. They're not just bridges in space, they seem to be crossing dimensions. Elena and Salif exchanged glances. The implications were staggering. Could this be related to the Void Eaters? Elena asked, voicing the concern on everyone's mind. Samantha shook her head. I don't think so. The energy signatures are completely different. This feels older, more fundamental to the fabric of reality itself. As the days passed, more portals appeared, not just on Earth, but across Zarkai worlds as well. The galactic community was in an uproar, fear of another invasion mixing with an insatiable curiosity about what lay beyond these shimmering gateways. Elena, never one to sit idly by, proposed a daring mission. We need to explore these portals, she declared to the United Earth Council. Humanity has always been driven by the need to understand, to push boundaries. We can't turn our backs on this, not when the answers could reshape our entire understanding of the cosmos. The Council was hesitant, but the Zarkai, impressed by humanity's ingenuity during the Void Eater War, threw their support behind Elena's proposal. A joint expedition was formed, with the ESS Frontier, now upgraded with the best of both human and Zarkai technology, at its helm. As they prepared for their journey into the unknown, Elena couldn't help but feel a mix of excitement and trepidation. We're about to go where no one has gone before, she mused to Salif as they stood on the Frontier's observation deck, watching the swirling portal that would be their gateway. Salif, usually stoic, showed a glimmer of emotion. In all our years of space travel, we Zarkai never encountered anything like this. It's humbling. With a deep breath, Elena gave the order. The Frontier, carrying the hopes and dreams of two civilizations, plunged into the shimmering vortex. What they discovered on the other side defied imagination. They emerged not into another part of their galaxy, or even another galaxy altogether, but into what appeared to be the space between realities. A vast, swirling nexus of energy and possibility stretched out before them, with countless portals leading to what they could only assume were parallel universes. My God, Elena whispered, her voice filled with awe. It's like a cosmic web. As they explored this incredible realm, they made contact with entities beyond their comprehension. These beings, neither fully corporeal nor entirely energy, existed in a state of quantum superposition. They called themselves the Architects, and their revelation shook Elena and her crew to their core. You have reached the quantum nexus, one of the Architects communicated directly into their minds. This is the birthplace of realities, the source from which all universes spring. The truth, as it was gradually revealed to them, was more incredible than they could have imagined. The multiverse wasn't just a theory, it was the fundamental structure of existence, and humanity, along with the Zarkai and countless other species across infinite realities, were all part of a grand cosmic experiment. Each universe, the Architect explained, is a testing ground for different possibilities, different laws of physics, different evolutionary paths. You, and those like you who reach this place, are the success stories, the beings who have evolved to a point where you can comprehend the greater reality. The implications were staggering. Humanity wasn't just a small, insignificant speck in a vast universe. They were part of something far greater, a cosmic journey of self-discovery and evolution that spanned realities. But with this knowledge came a choice. The Architects offered humanity and the Zarkai a place among them, a chance to transcend their physical forms and become shepherds of reality itself. It was an opportunity for Godhood to shape the very fabric of existence. Elena and Salif found themselves faced with the most important decision of their lives, not just for themselves, but for their entire species. If we accept, Elena mused, we have the power to eliminate suffering, to create paradise across all realities. Salif, however, saw it differently. but at what cost? We'd be abandoning our humanity, our Zarkai nature. The struggle, the growth, the beauty of our imperfect existence, isn't that what makes us who we are? As they debated, Elena had an epiphany. What if this is the true test? Not whether we can reach this place, but what we choose to do once we're here. With newfound clarity, Elena addressed the architects. "We're honored by your offer," she said, her voice steady and clear. "But we choose to remain as we are. Our strength lies not in godhood, but in our capacity to grow, to face challenges, to forge our own path." The architects' response was not what they expected. Instead of disappointment, there was a sense of pride. "You have chosen wisely," it communicated. "You understand what truly matters. Go forth, children of the cosmos. Your journey is far from over." As the frontier prepared to return to their own reality, they were given a parting gift: knowledge. Not of advanced technology or the power to reshape worlds, but a deeper understanding of their place in the grand tapestry of existence. They returned to a changed galaxy. The revelation of the quantum nexus and humanity's choice spread quickly, reshaping philosophies and uniting species in a way never before seen. The human spirit, with its blend of curiosity, determination, and compassion, had not only saved Earth, but had also charted a course for a brighter future for all sentient life. Elena, standing once again on the bridge of the frontier, looked out at the stars with new eyes. "Where to next?" Avalith asked, a hint of excitement in his voice. A smile spread across Elena's face. "Everywhere," she replied. "We have a whole multiverse to explore, and this time, we're not just representing Earth or the Zarkai. We're ambassadors of life itself." As the frontier leaped into FTL, carrying its crew towards new adventures, Elena felt a profound sense of purpose. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged not just victorious, but enlightened. They had stared into the face of cosmic truth and chosen to embrace their humanity rather than transcend it. The battle against the Void Eaters had been won with weapons and strategy, but this victory, this affirmation of what it meant to be human, would echo across realities for eons to come. The true golden age of humanity, of all sentient life, was just beginning. And Elena Reyes, along with her diverse crew of humans and aliens, was ready to lead the charge into a future brighter than any star in the sky.